6 months ago, my life fell apart when my wife Jessica cheated on me with her coworker Ryan and walked out after 6 years of marriage. I was completely blindsided and devastated, losing 20 pounds in the aftermath as I struggled to understand how the woman I loved could betray me so thoroughly. Last weekend, we both attended our mutual friends, Sam and Olivia's wedding. Jessica showed up with Ryan, but I arrived with Emma, my new girlfriend. What followed was a meltdown so dramatic that wedding guests are still talking about it. Before I tell you how my ex-wife completely lost it when she saw me happy again, let me know where you are watching from, and hit that subscribe button if you have ever seen karma work its magic in real life. I had always been the careful planner type, which served me well as an architect. I met Jessica during a project where her marketing firm was handling promotions for a building my company designed. She was vivacious, quick-witted, and had a smile that could light up an entire room. We dated for 2 years before getting married, in a beautiful ceremony surrounded by friends and family. For the first 4 years of our marriage, everything seemed perfect. We purchased a craftsman-style home that I helped renovate, creating what I thought would be our forever home. We talked about having children, soon planned vacations together, and built a solid circle of friends. Jessica and I hosted dinner parties regularly, took weekend trips to the coast, and seemed to genuinely enjoy building our life together. I thought we were happy. I thought we were solid. The first signs of trouble were subtle. Jessica started staying late at work more frequently, claiming big projects and important client meetings. She became increasingly protective of her phone, changing her password, and keeping it face down whenever it was near me. Our intimacy dwindled, with Jessica often claiming she was too tired or stressed. I tried talking to her about it, but she assured me everything was fine, just workplace pressure. Then came the day that shattered my reality. Jessica had left her iPad on the kitchen counter while she took a shower. A notification popped up from someone named Ryan with a message preview that made my blood run cold. "Last night was amazing. Cannot wait to see you again tomorrow." My hands shook as I opened the message thread and found months of intimate conversations, plans for meetups, and even photos they had exchanged. When Jessica emerged from the shower, I was sitting at our dining table with her iPad open in front of me. The color drained from her face when she saw what I was looking at. "How long?" I asked, my voice barely audible. 3 months, she replied, not even attempting to deny it. Ryan joined the firm in January. He works in the creative department. "Were you going to tell me?" Jessica sat down across from me, looking strangely calm. I was trying to figure out how. "Anthony, I have been unhappy for a long time. Ryan and I connected in a way that made me realize what I have been missing." Her words felt like physical blows. "Missing? What have you been missing? We built this life together. We have plans, dreams. Your plans, your dreams," she said coldly. I went along with everything, because it was easier than admitting I wanted something different. "Ryan makes me feel alive. With you, I was just comfortable, but bored." Within 3 days, Jessica had packed her essentials and moved out, leaving me alone in the home we had created together. I later discovered she had moved directly into Ryan's downtown loft apartment. She had also transferred half of our savings into her personal account the day before our confrontation. The calculated nature of her actions made the betrayal even more painful. The divorce proceedings were brutal. Jessica and Ryan made no attempt to be discreet, posting couple photos on social media before our divorce was even finalized. Every tagged photo felt like salt in my wounds. I tried to maintain my dignity throughout the legal process, but inside I was falling apart. Some of our mutual friends remained supportive, but others sided with Jessica after hearing her version of events, that our marriage had been dead for years and that I had been emotionally unavailable. These accusations hurt almost as much as the infidelity itself, as I had always prided myself on being attentive and caring. My work suffered tremendously. Projects that I would have normally tackled with enthusiasm became overwhelming. I lost weight rapidly, dropping 20 pounds in 2 months, as my appetite disappeared. Insomnia became my constant companion, with most nights spent staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of our marriage, searching for signs I had missed. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, I hit rock bottom. I was sitting alone in our home now. just my home surrounded by memories and half-empty rooms where Jessica's things had once been. I had called in sick to work for the third day in a row, unable to muster the energy to shower or change clothes. My phone kept ringing with concerned messages from my parents and friends, but I could not bring myself to answer. That night, I finally accepted that I could not continue this way. The next morning, I made 2 calls, one to a therapist whose card my friend Mike had given me weeks earlier, and another to a real estate agent. If I was going to rebuild my life, I needed to start with a clean slate. Dr. Marshall was a direct, no-nonsense therapist who specialized in helping people through major life transitions and betrayal trauma. Our first session was difficult with me, barely able to articulate the depth of my pain without breaking down. She listened patiently, then said something that would become a mantra in my recovery. Jessica's choices reflect her character, not your worth. Over the weeks that followed, Dr. Marshall helped me identify and process the complex emotions I was experiencing: grief for the future. I had lost anger at the betrayal and fear that I was somehow unlovable. The work was painful, but necessary, forcing me to confront feelings I had been trying to numb. On Dr. Marshall's recommendation, I joined a gym, finding that physical exertion provided a healthy outlet for my anger and frustration. Each session left me exhausted, but clearer-headed. Gradually, I began sleeping better and regaining the weight I had lost. The face in the mirror slowly began to look more like me again. I sold our house, unable to bear the constant reminders of Jessica, and purchased a modern condo closer to my office. Designing my new space became therapeutic, allowing me to express myself without compromise. For the first time in years, every design choice reflected only my preferences. With Dr. Marshall's encouragement, I also began reconnecting with friends I had somewhat neglected during my marriage. My college roommate Alan and I resumed our tradition of monthly poker nights. My cousin Kate, who Jessica had always found too opinionated, became a regular visitor, bringing her infectious laughter back into my life. Seeking new experiences, I joined a local hiking group and signed up for cooking classes at a community center. The hiking group provided both exercise and new social connections, while cooking gave me a creative outlet that had nothing to do with architecture or my former life with Jessica. At work, I threw myself into a major design project for a sustainable apartment complex, working long hours, but finding satisfaction in creating something meaningful. My boss noticed the improvement in my work and assigned me to lead our team in a prestigious competition for a new civic center design. Navigating our mutual social circles proved challenging. I declined several invitations to events where I knew Jessica would be present, unwilling to subject myself to that pain. Some friends understood, while others pressed me to move on and be civil. Only those who had witnessed my darkest days truly understood why I needed this boundary. Occasionally, mutual friends would mention Jessica and Ryan, usually prefaced with, "I do not know if you want to hear this, but..." Their relationship appeared picture-perfect on social media, with exotic vacations and romantic gestures prominently displayed. Each update stung, but less acutely as time passed. 6 months into my recovery journey, I felt stronger, but remained deeply resistant to dating. The thought of making myself vulnerable again seemed impossible. My best friend Mike had other ideas, persistently encouraging me to get back out there. "You cannot let Jessica ruin your chance at happiness," he argued during a basketball game. "Not all women are going to betray you." "I am not ready," I insisted. "Besides, who would want someone with my baggage?" Mike just shook his head. "Your baggage is called experience. The right person will understand that." A full year after my divorce, I finally created a dating profile with expectations so low they were practically subterranean. My first attempt at dating was a disaster with my date, spending the entire evening talking about her ex-boyfriend. The second date ended when my companion revealed she was actually married but exploring options. The third stood me up entirely. These experiences became funny stories to share with friends rather than devastating setbacks. I was learning to take rejection in stride, a sign of healing that Dr. Marshall noted with approval. Then came the day that changed everything. I was browsing architecture books at a local bookstore when I literally collided with a woman rounding the corner, sending her stack of landscape design books tumbling to the floor. "I am so sorry," I said, kneeling to help gather her books. "Entirely my fault," she replied with a laugh. "I tend to walk while reading the top book on my stack. Dangerous habit." Her name was Emma, a landscape designer working with a local firm. We moved to the bookstore cafe and talked for hours about sustainable design, favorite buildings, and the challenges of incorporating nature into urban spaces. Not once did the conversation veer toward past relationships or personal drama. It was refreshing, engaging, and entirely unexpected. We exchanged numbers with a casual agreement to meet for coffee again sometime. That sometime turned into weekly coffee meetings, then dinners, then weekend outings. Emma was different from anyone I had dated before, including Jessica. Where Jessica had been outgoing and dramatic, Emma was quietly confident and thoughtful. She listened as much as she spoke, showed genuine interest in my ideas, and had a calming presence that I found incredibly attractive. 3 months after our bookstore collision, we acknowledged that we were actually dating. Emma knew about my divorce in broad strokes, but did not press for details until I was ready to share them. When I finally told her the full story one evening at her apartment, she simply took my hand and said, "Thank you for trusting me with that." Emma had her own past, including a painful breakup 2 years earlier, with her longtime boyfriend, who had chosen his career over their relationship. Her experience had left her cautious, but not bitter, something I aspired to achieve in my own healing. Our relationship progressed slowly by mutual agreement. We were both wary of repeating past mistakes, taking time to build trust and communication. For the first time, I found myself in a relationship based on mutual respect rather than infatuation or convenience. 6 months into dating Emma, I realized I was falling in love again, but in a more mature, grounded way than I had experienced before. This love was not about desperate need or fear of being alone. It was about genuine appreciation for who she was and how we complemented each other. When I finally told Emma I loved her, her smile lit up the room as she said the words back to me without hesitation. The wedding invitation arrived 8 months into our relationship. Our mutual friends Sam and Olivia were finally tying the knot after 7 years together. I stared at the heavy cream envelope, knowing immediately that Jessica would likely be there with Ryan. Sam and Jessica had been friends since college, and Olivia had become close with her during our marriage. My first instinct was to decline. The thought of seeing Jessica and Ryan together playing the happy couple made my stomach knot. I mentioned the invitation to Emma casually over dinner, trying to gauge her reaction. "Do you want to go?" she asked directly. "I do not know," I admitted. "Jessica will almost certainly be there with Ryan." Emma considered this thoughtfully. "Would you regret not attending Sam and Olivia's wedding because of them?" Her question cut to the heart of the matter. Sam had been my friend long before Jessica entered the picture. Missing his wedding because I was avoiding my ex-wife meant giving her power over my life even now. "We will go together," Emma said simply. "We will focus on celebrating Sam and Olivia. Everything else is background noise." Her confidence bolstered mine, and I sent our acceptance. In the weeks leading up to the wedding, I occasionally felt anxiety about the upcoming encounter, but I reminded myself how much had changed. I was no longer the shell of a person Jessica had left behind. I had rebuilt myself stronger than before. The wedding was held at a beautiful vineyard estate with the ceremony planned for sunset. Emma wore a deep blue dress that complemented her auburn hair, looking so stunning that I momentarily forgot my nervousness. We arrived early, finding seats near Sam's family. The ceremony was beautiful, and I managed to focus entirely on my friend's happiness without scanning the crowd for Jessica. That changed at the reception when Emma and I entered the beautifully decorated barn to find Jessica and Ryan already seated at a table near the dance floor. Jessica saw me first. I watched her expression change from casual happiness to shock as she registered my presence. Her eyes widened further when she noticed Emma beside me, her hand comfortably in mine. I gave her a brief, polite nod before guiding Emma to our assigned table on the opposite side of the room. "You okay?" Emma whispered. Surprisingly, "Yes," I replied, realizing it was true. The anticipated panic had not materialized. Throughout dinner, I caught Jessica glancing our way repeatedly, while Ryan seemed oblivious, chatting animatedly with other guests. I introduced Emma to various friends, gratified by their genuine warmth toward her. Several commented on how happy I looked, a sentiment that felt wonderfully authentic. After the main course, my old friend Tyler stopped by our table. "Fair warning," he said quietly. "Jessica has been asking about you too, and she and Ryan have been fighting all evening." "About what?" I asked, surprised. Tyler shrugged. "Not sure of the details, but word around the reception is that he has been seeing someone at his office. Karma Wright." I processed this information with an unexpected lack of satisfaction. The thought of Jessica experiencing the same betrayal she had inflicted on me should have felt vindicating, but instead I felt a strange emptiness about it. As the night progressed, Emma and I danced, laughed with friends, and genuinely enjoyed ourselves. I was just beginning to think we might make it through the evening without direct contact when Jessica approached our table. She had clearly had several glasses of champagne, her movements slightly unsteady. "Anthony," she said, her voice overly bright, "it has been ages. You look great." "Thanks, Jessica. This is Emma," I replied calmly. Jessica turned to Emma with a tight smile. "So nice to meet you. How long have you two been together?" "About 8 months now," Emma answered pleasantly. "Beautiful wedding is not it." "Yes, lovely Jessica," replied her attention, already shifting back to me. "I am surprised to see you here. You always hated these kinds of events." "I never hated weddings," I corrected gently. "I just preferred smaller gatherings." "Right," she said with a dismissive laugh. "Well, you certainly moved on quickly. I was surprised when Olivia mentioned you were bringing someone." Her tone had an edge, now drawing attention from nearby tables. Ryan remained across the room, deep in conversation with someone I did not recognize. "It has been over a year since our divorce, Jessica," I reminded her quietly. 18 months since you left," Emma added, her voice friendly but firm. Jessica's expression hardened. 18 months. 8 months. That math suggests you did not waste much time grieving our 6-year marriage, did you, Anthony?" I felt heat rising in my face. I took the time I needed to heal. "She must be quite special to help you get over everything so quickly." Jessica continued, her voice rising slightly. "Or maybe just a convenient rebound." Emma straightened in her chair. "I understand this might be difficult, but Anthony and I have built something genuine together. I do not think comparisons are helpful for anyone." Jessica's carefully maintained composure began to crack. "You have no idea what we had together," she said, her voice trembling. "You have no idea what I gave up." "Jessica," I said softly, "this is not the time or place." "When is the time?" she demanded, loud enough now that conversations at nearby tables had stopped. "When Ryan is texting other women while sitting next to me at our friend's wedding. When I realize I made the biggest mistake of my life. Is that the right time?" Anthony's heads were turning toward us now. Ryan had finally noticed the commotion and was making his way across the room, looking concerned. "You left me, Jessica," continued, tears now streaming down her face, smearing her makeup. "You were supposed to fight for me, to show me I was making a mistake. Instead, you just signed the papers and disappeared. And now you show up looking better than ever with her, while my life is falling apart. It is not fair," Jessica, Ryan said, reaching our table. "Let us go get some air." "Do not touch me," she snapped, pulling away from him. Everyone needs to know that karma is real. He cheated on me, just like I cheated on Anthony. Is not that poetic?" The room had gone uncomfortably quiet. Sam and Olivia were watching with dismay from the head table. "You were so reliable, so steady," Jessica said to me, her voice breaking. "I thought I wanted excitement. But you know what? Excitement got me. A boyfriend who cannot commit, just like he could not commit before. You would never have done that to me." "Jessica, please," Ryan urged, looking mortified. In a sudden movement that no one anticipated, Jessica grabbed her full champagne flute and threw the contents directly at Ryan, then burst into tears. The wedding coordinator and one of Jessica's friends quickly moved in, guiding her outside, while Ryan stood dripping with champagne, looking embarrassed and angry. Emma and I sat in stunned silence, along with the rest of the guests. Ryan made a quiet apology to Sam and Olivia before following Jessica outside. The band, sensing the need to shift the energy, quickly started playing again, and the awkward moment slowly dissipated as guests returned to their conversations. "Are you okay?" Emma asked, her hand finding mine under the table. "Yes," I said, realizing with some surprise that it was true. "But maybe we should head out soon. I think they have had enough drama for one wedding." Emma and I left the reception shortly after the incident, both feeling that Sam and Olivia deserved to have their spotlight restored. We drove in silence for several minutes before Emma spoke. "That was intense," she said quietly. "Are you sure you are okay?" I considered the question carefully. "I am. But I should ask you the same thing. That could not have been easy to witness." Emma turned in her seat to face me. "It made me wonder if I am a rebound." She made it sound like you moved on very quickly. Her honesty hit me hard. We parked outside my condo and talked for hours, having one of the most open conversations of our relationship. I explained my healing process, the therapy, the work I had done before, even considering dating again. "What we have is real," I told her. "Nothing about you or us feels like a rebound or a reaction to my past. You are not a replacement or a distraction. You are someone completely new and wonderful who I choose to be with because of who you are." The morning after the wedding, I received a text from Jessica. "I am sorry for causing a scene. That was unfair to you, to Emma, and especially to Sam and Olivia. I am not in a good place right now. After consulting with Emma, I sent a brief response. I accept your apology and wish you healing." It felt like the right balance of forgiveness and boundaries. Over the following weeks, I heard through mutual friends that Jessica and Ryan had officially broken up. Apparently, she had discovered multiple instances of his infidelity, culminating in the tension we had witnessed at the wedding. While part of me felt sympathy for her pain, I recognized that her choices had led her to this outcome. In my next session with Dr. Marshall, we discussed the wedding incident in detail. "How did it feel to see her so upset?" she asked. "Not satisfying like I might have expected," I admitted. "Mostly I felt sad for her and relieved for myself. Relieved that I am no longer entangled in that kind of drama, that I have moved beyond it." Dr. Marshall smiled. "That is significant progress, Anthony. Her actions no longer define your emotional state." Emma remained supportive throughout this final chapter of my past relationship, never pressuring me or expressing jealousy. Her security in our relationship strengthened my own confidence in what we were building together. 6 months after the wedding, Emma and I decided to move in together. We found a charming townhouse halfway between our workplaces and enjoyed combining our design sensibilities to create a space that represented both of us. Every decision was collaborative, from furniture placement to color schemes, resulting in a home that truly felt like ours. My perspective on my failed marriage had evolved significantly. Rather than viewing it as wasted time, I recognized the growth and lessons it had provided. I had learned to value communication, to recognize red flags, and most importantly, to maintain my sense of self within a relationship. About a month after we moved in together, I encountered Jessica unexpectedly at our local coffee shop. She looked different, more subdued than the polished marketing executive I had been married to. "Anthony," she said, spotting me in line. "How are you?" "I am well," I replied honestly. "How have you been?" "Better now," she said. "I have been doing a lot of work on myself. Therapy, reflection, the whole journey." We chatted briefly about work and mutual friends. Then, as I was about to leave, she said something that surprised me. "I acted impulsively, taking you for granted, because you were always so dependable. I thought I wanted something different, something more exciting. But I was really just running from my own issues. I am sorry for how I hurt you." For the first time, her apology felt genuine, rather than self-serving. "I appreciate that, Jessica. I truly hope you find what you are looking for." "I think you have," she said with a small smile. "Emma seems lovely. You deserve that happiness." I left feeling a sense of closure I had not expected to find. The conversation confirmed how far I had come from the devastated man of 18 months ago. The 1-year anniversary of meeting Emma arrived, and I planned a special weekend getaway to the mountains. We hiked to a beautiful viewpoint where we had gone on our 3rd date, and there, with the valley spread out below us, I proposed. "Emma, You entered my life when I least expected to find love again, but you showed me what a truly healthy relationship feels like. Every day with you reinforces that real love is built on mutual respect, honesty, and genuine appreciation. Would you marry me? Her joyful yes echoed across the mountainside as she threw her arms around my neck. As we celebrated that evening, I reflected on the journey that had brought me here. The betrayal that once seemed like the end of my world had actually been the beginning of a path to something far better. I had learned that resilience is not about avoiding pain, but about using it to grow stronger and wiser. The experience taught me that self-worth cannot be determined by someone else's actions or opinions. It showed me that true love does not demand that you diminish yourself or live in constant anxiety. Most importantly, it revealed that happiness often waits on the other side of our most painful challenges if we have the courage to keep moving forward. Have you ever witnessed someone regret losing you once you found happiness? Share your experiences in the comments below. And if my story of finding joy after betrayal resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also consider sharing this video with someone who might need to hear that the end of one chapter can lead to the beginning of a much better one. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and remember that sometimes losing what you thought you wanted leads to finding what you truly deserve.